Hello everyone, I am Overlord and welcome to my Wonderland. I am so excited to finally do my first figure unboxing. Ainz Ooal! What is this? Don't worry, Miku-chan, everything will be okay. It will be okay, I think. Since it's still rather early, the best I can do for substituting a glass of adult grape juice is instead a mulled wine flavoured tea. Looks and smells great. Hopefully this does not disappoint. An appropriate selection of porcelain, I think. Right then. As you can already tell, this unboxing video is a bit problematic. For to be an unboxing video, one must have a box to unbox. This is mere plastic and cardboard remains. So much for my big grand first figure unboxing. But I guess there is still a figure to review and a story. So I'll begin. After finally watching the anime Overlord for such reasons as I absolutely loved Albedo's character design and the third opening song Verocity by Myth and Royd, which I, at this point, would have been probably listening to this for 2 years beforehand. Final thoughts? Epic anime? Definitely close to my top 10. Now that I had watched the anime, I could allow myself to buy merch from it. And yes, without this rule in place, I probably would not have any control over buying anime figures and merch. Moving on. Anyone who has seen Overlord merch for sale knows that the aftermarket for such is enough to make one's wallet and bank account internally scream. But like the collector I am, I don't lose hope and do my daily website checks, hoping for a bloody miracle. One day on my figure collection, I see FNEX FuRyu Ainz Ooal figure up for sale at $180 USD. Now, the main reason I would get this figure is so that I could have it with the matching Albedo from the same company. I messaged the seller right away just to check to see if that was the right price, authenticity, and if there was any damage. And with a few photo checks and chatting, the figure had a scratch on its shoulder and was missing 2 screws for the battery pack. But apart from that, it was in great condition with a perfect box. While talking back and forth about details, I got along with the seller, so added them as a friend of my figure collection. And yeah, just to let any other collectors out there know if they don't already, my figure collection, I highly recommend joining, as it's a good way to keep track of your collection, like anime figures specifically, and also merch. And I really enjoy reading the articles. I guess it's a kind of community. You'll get the hang of it once you check it out. But yeah, anyway, moving on. After the seller found out the postage cost, they offered to cover the majority of it, as they felt bad about the conversion rates of the US dollar to Australian dollar. And being no stranger to this, as if anyone's seen my figure collection account, I've obviously done a bit of shopping around. I told them that I am happy to pay in full the amount and for them not to worry at all, as I'm the buyer. But they persisted and just won me over in the end. I guess they're trying to be nice. Anyway, they went to get it posted. However, apparently they weren't able to due to the dimensions of the box, or so their post office told them. I was thinking either the postage cost was too high or their post office had certain rules. I've never got anything from Russia before, like posted, so I would not know. Long story short, they sent it in a sack bag. I okayed this, thinking the figures box would be put in an outer box, perhaps, and then in the bag. Or bubble wrap, taped pieces of cardboard. You can get pretty creative posting collectibles. I know I have, to ensure they don't get crushed, or something. Yeah. When I got the sack, it did not resemble that a box was inside at all. And picking it up sounded like a bag of broken pieces. I legit had to put it aside and have lunch before even anticipating opening the bag. And I was just there sitting there eating my lunch, looking at this bag, thinking that there is no way this figure is still in one piece. So this is what the front of the postal bag sack looked like. Assuring, right? I know. Open bag. So the item is actually in there. And holy shit, I had my doubts. Up on my desk now, and I just could not believe that the plastic bubble holding the figure is still holding some shape. I mean, oh my goodness. Woo! I was just so excited that I saw a glimmer of hope. The only broken part was his hand. His hand! Though he did have a few paint transfer scratches, as you would expect with his hand running loose all in the packaging everywhere. But honestly, I am so thrilled and relieved. I could not believe this went through international postage in nothing but a bag and still came as good as it did. Yes, the figure not being as delicate as many other scales helps, but still, you know how roughly packages, let alone a sack, is treated by postal couriers? Every time I get a package, I imagine it being kicked around like that one scene in the movie Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, starring Jim Carrey. I have to give the figure company, FuRyu, credit for their packaging. I mean, talk about the ultimate test. Goodness. Now, after cleaning the figure, removing the majority of scratches, Ainz is looking pretty good considering. Here I am just finally being able to look and admire the figure properly for the first time. That's all right, dear chap. We'll get your hand back on. Don't you worry. Now, this stuff. Just holding it feels so epic. I mean, look at it in comparison to my hand. My hands are not that tiny, they're petite, but it's like holding a magic wand. The power. Since Ainz has had such a brutal journey, I feel like he needs a little extra support while I take care of his wounds. Hence, Pusheen Mermaid Blanket. Just gonna get a nice and cozy there for you. The last thing I would want to do is to scratch him accidentally any more than he already is. If that is even possible, I'm not taking my chances. Though I will only be adding glue in small portions. Just have some paper just in case. Thought I would try out this glue, which title kind of looks like ooh, dare I say it. If only the H wasn't a W. Actually, how would you even say that? Ooh-hoo? Ooh-hoo. Kind of sounds like boo-hoo, I won't lie, and that's kind of appropriate. Actually, when I was talking to some of my close friends about how I ordered my first Overlord figure, it was pretty funny. One was like, "So what lewd character have you bought?" I paused and replied, Ainz Ooal. They just about died, as you would expect. I am very surprised that the small shoulder skeleton pieces did not break off. I mean, they're just, okay, maybe they got a little bit of flex, but they still feel like you could easily snap one off. I held the piece in place with pressure for around 10 minutes. Testing the glue, I actually knocked the hand accidentally and had a heart attack, but it didn't break, so I am quite happy with how that worked out. trying really hard not to break those fingers. Transfer paint or re-scratch that shoulder with the top of his staff, which if you do end up getting this figure, watch out for the top of the staff. It is so easy to scratch the shoulder with it. And even after removing the paint scratch there from the previous owner's experience with the staff, it embedded so deeply that I can still see it at a close range slightly. I know this is an awkward angle, but hear me out. I had to show you the details of the skeleton body, which you can't see from any other angle, unfortunately. And can I say, I am really impressed that the whole skeleton body is sculpted. I mean, you would hopefully expect it for the price, but you never know. Lovely to know time was put into a complete body, even underneath the clothing. The hand, the ring details, oh, so good. I also love how it has a ball joint so you can rotate the angle, even though there can only be one angle, like come hither angle as I call it. The rib cage sculpt and the soul sphere, beautifully detailed fabric. Now then, time to set up the LED, the lighting feature. The battery pack fits snug in the cloak robes, nice and simple to access. Batteries not included, but easily found and purchased from my local supermarket. Took me a few tries to get the batteries in the right spot to work. I worked out one has to face up and the other down. There were instructions for this figure, which the seller forgot to send, but posted them later. They took a screenshot of me for the meantime, and for the life of me, I could not find it. So, not sure if that would have helped, but nevertheless, I worked it out and showing you now so you don't make the same mistake as I did. Also good to know I did not need the pressure of another 2 screws for the batteries to work. And if you wondered, yes, I did contact the seller and showed them what happened. They were horrified and offered me a full refund instantly, which I did not accept because at this stage I had fixed the figure and was still very happy having this figure in my collection for the price, as well as having this hilarious postage story to tell. Sure, the box was trashed. I actually thought about having a video trying to fix it up, but not the effort it needed to do that. Well, most likely a terrible end result. And I already have a few packages lined up that I want to record reviews for that I'm sure everyone will enjoy a lot more than me trying to fix this box. So I can finally review this figure. Here are my final thoughts. Sculpting. I think Ainz Ooal has been sculpted very well. The staff looks incredible, not only to view, but also to hold. Fabric formed very nicely, giving movement to the piece. But what I am mostly impressed with is his skeleton body, of course. Even if you do not see it fully unless you have a cheeky peek under his robes. I was also both happy the wiring wasn't damaged and thrilled with the lighting element, which looks epic, especially in the dark, but is still well visible in a lit room. His sculpted hands and rings are beautifully done as well. The mold mark in the back of his cloak is easily forgiven, as though the cape is beautifully detailed. I will be, of course, having him facing the front on my display. The 2 things I will nitpick at is having LEDs also in his shoulder pieces, which would have been a nice addition, and also I would have liked his teeth to be more deeply defined, which I think would have been possible with the massive scale of this figure. The only other thing about his head is the mold seams on the sides are quite visible at a closer inspection, but do not get me wrong, it does not ruin the presence of this magnificent figure at all. 9 out of 10. Painting. The colours match the original character on point. I especially love the gold metallic accents, but what I think really brings life to this paintwork is the shading. Really brings out all those sculpted details, especially in the fabric, very well. 10 out of 10. Some may say it is simple, but I love being able to have a figure of the great Ainz Ooal in his classic pose. I feel like the majority of figures made today are characters not in their original outfits or poses. So it is nice that we can still get an original figure form of this character. Though I won't lie, Ainz Ooal in his bathing robe is hilarious and I kind of want it. 10 out of 10. Base. I can get why one would have a simple black base for this figure, but with the scale and price range, I feel a bit more work could have gone into it. I feel like even a simple stone pavement sort of base, like a castle floor, would not only add to the figure, but also wouldn't be too difficult to make. 7 out of 10. Box. Now you may think, can I even do this category? Maybe because I can still see the box design without thinking about the box design, which, I say, still looks pretty good. I have to give this box a 10 out of 10 because through the travel of hell and back, it was able to actually protect 90% of the figure, which is well appreciated. FuRyu, keep that boxing standards up. Sure, the outer part won't hold up, but that bubble will get through international shipping in a bag. Thank you. Now then, my overall enjoyment of this experience. After recovering from the shock of opening that bag and gluing the hand back on, I have to say I love this figure, if it isn't clear from my shrieking voice. And for a 1/7 figure, it is massive. I could not even comprehend the size and presence of this piece in my collection. It is very hard to find a fault in this figure. I can only imagine how epic he will look with albedo and shell tier figures when and if I can get them to join him. Possible pre-orders later this year? We'll see. 10 out of 10. Scale comparison. Ainz Ooal himself is 1/7 scale. Here he is with SPM figure Ghost Miku by Sega. Taito's 2019 birthday Miku. Rem 1/7 scale by Good Smile Company. Good Smile's Celty Nendoroid. And Good Smile's Rin Nendoroid Petite. Boop. So there we have it. Thank you for joining me for my first figure review. Not what I planned, but still I hope it was both entertaining and still gives you a good look at this figure. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to subscribe as I have many unboxings and videos planned for this year, hopefully a bit more cleaner than this one. Enjoy your cup of tea or grape juice, stay safe, and I look forward to catching you next time.